Hello everyone, I'm Ben from What Culture and this is Scott from What Culture.
Hello.
Now, as you may have seen yesterday, the Avengers project is a thing.
It is.
Marvel announced a partnership with Square Enix to produce a series of games. Maybe you've got some very professional looking notes there, barely concealed by a piece of card.
Indeed.
But you found out some information, you've done some digging, and we're just going to have a little discussion about everything that we know at the moment.
So all that they put out was just a little teaser trailer, which a lot of people in the comments got immediately annoyed. It was so vague, and they've said more information's come in 2018. But if you dig below the surface a little bit, there are a few indications as to what this is actually going to be.
Okay.
So to outline what the project is, I think, it seems that Marvel and Square Enix have partnered together to publish a series of games. The first two are developed by Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, of like Tomb Raider and Deus Ex fame. And that's going to be a main Avengers game. Now that's coming next year, but fracturing off from that, according to like the press release and the basic description in the YouTube, it seems like they're then going to branch out and do individual titles after that, because they've discussed they want to make a series of games that gamers can play for years to come.
Right.
Which, to me, sounds like some sort of Disney Infinity Skylanders type platform that maybe other games will plug into.
Which probably sends alarm bells ringing in a lot of people's heads. Like
unless you collect figures.
Oh, Jesus.
Like me.
For God's sake, Scott.
Yeah.
Bloody figures.
Disney Infinity figures.
Yeah, now that it's been cancelled, you're buying them all up on the cheap.
They're cheap as you wouldn't believe.
I would.
If you want a little Rey figure, Kylo Ren, glow in the dark lightsaber.
Go on, how much?
£8 to £10. It's alright. It's about 20 before.
Yeah, okay.
Get to it.
That's it. I mean, the last time we had a proper Avengers game really was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Which was pretty rubbish.
It was.
A lot of people liked it.
Sorry, what? It was pretty rubbish?
Yeah.
Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah.
But what? The second one wasn't very good. First one's brilliant. Are you mental? It was brilliant. I'll keep talking in the high voice. It's very repetitive, I guess. We played X-Men Legends. It's more of that.
Oh, okay, yeah, like X-Men Legends again. Those kinds of games, like we haven't had a proper narratively driven Avengers game.
Because, yeah, so far what they've shown is just this teaser trailer. They haven't even revealed whether they're doing mobile games or AAA games or what they're doing. But I dove a little bit deeper and I found a quote from last year, and it's Marvel's new VP of games, this guy called Jay Ong. And he was asked after seeing the new Spider-Man game, is this an indication of things to come? Are we going to be seeing more AAA games? And he said yes.
Right.
So, but he said they have to take time to reveal these things. Obviously, I'm assuming that's what this reveal now is. It's a series of AAA games that Marvel have been working on for years, by the looks of it.
Now, they've shown this trailer, this teaser trailer, which is extremely vague. It shows the core Avengers that we're aware of from the films and their various iconic weaponry just lying abandoned, and with a voiceover saying, there's no time for heroes anymore, or some kind of...
To reassemble. I absolutely love the idea of, and this is pure fanboy whatever. I love the idea of them just bringing together like the finest developers in the industry and just being like, these are the Avengers of video games.
Oh god,
it's so
you're right.
cool.
That's what they've done, isn't it?
So I mean, there's no Naughty Dog, so whatever.
There's no Naughty Dog, but Insomniac, they've got working on a Spider-Man game. Obviously, it's separate from this.
Yeah, and that's another one of the things we were able to find out. There's a website called Start Replay that tweeted Insomniac saying like, oh, is your Spider-Man game now part of the Avengers project? They said they were happy about their all-new Spider-Man game, and going from the press release, they've said the Avengers game is an original story. So assumedly, these things aren't connected.
Okay. Do you reckon Insomniac were made aware that they were going to enter into a partnership, or are Marvel just knocking on everyone's door saying, hey, do you want to make a cool Marvel game?
I think they're doing that, but I also think there's that weird long-standing thing with Sony and Marvel. I think Sony still have Spider-Man rights. Like,
that's very true.
So I think they've retained that. I think that's why Insomniac First Party Studio are doing Spider-Man.
Not first party.
Really?
No.
Oh, well, balls. They're exclusive, aren't they?
They are.
Oh, they're not.
They're making an exclusive game. They did Fuse. They also
Fuse.
did the Xbox One very colourful game. What's that called?
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, we go.
That is a very good point. Okay, they're not first party.
But yeah,
still
good friends.
Yeah, it's very good
They're
friends.
just friends.
Either way, yeah, it seems that, like, I think by the looks of it, Sony have still got Spider-Man so they can do their own standalone thing. The way people are talking about the Spider-Man game seems like it's going to be to that character what Arkham was to Batman.
Right.
Like just a little one-off sort of side story.
Exciting.
Yes, but it does mean that going forward, if we're right about all this, Spider-Man isn't part of the Avengers project. So...
Yeah, that's also very true. It would certainly be weird if then, and almost like I don't know if they would take it too personally, but almost like a knife in the back of Insomniac, if Spider-Man suddenly showed up in this other game that they agreed with someone else without their knowledge.
It's weird because in the MCU at the minute, we still have this weird thing of how much agency is Spider-Man being given. I mean, we're going to get the Solo movie this year, and then next year when these games are set to drop, we'll have been through the Infinity War movies, so depending on where that leaves Spidey, he might be a standalone character who knows? I mean, it depends how much Sony have given Marvel some leeway to include Spidey in future Marvel stories.
And that also begs the question, are we going to be seeing these games be nothing more than movie tie-ins, or are they going to be their own stories featuring the characters and the face and the voices of the film stars?
See, I mean, again, like, the thing that they said in the YouTube description press release was that this isn't a completely original story. And I would assume, this is pure speculation, but I would assume that because they've got Crystal Dynamics on board and because they specialize in third-person action games, and Tomb Raider is definitely a very bow and arrow heavy thing, I would assume that they can then take that technology and do something like a Hawkeye game. I would also assume...
The one that everyone wants.
I know, right? The one, yeah. Imagine if that was the first one.
That's the guy.
Oh,
We're very excited to announce Hawkeye, the video game.
Bollocks to you, Thor. But yeah, there's that, and I also think that they might end up using IDOS to use the Deus Ex style, augmented stuff to do an Iron Man game.
Yeah, very
Again,
true.
Pure speculation, but why get those studios on board if you're not going to play to their strengths?
And they also don't have to, they're not tied to taking exclusively, I imagine, from the more grounded cinematic universe. They could just go mental and do some of these crazy Iron Man stories from far in the future, cool. where it is a Deus Ex kind of environment.
Full-on alcohol. Oh, so yeah, give me full-on like Guardians of the Galaxy Iron Man, although they're probably going to cross over the MCU anyway.
Guardians of the Galaxy at the moment are, I don't know if it's rumoured or confirmed at this point that Telltale are doing
Telltale, yeah, they announced it, yeah.
Right, so that's extremely exciting as a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, but it just shows that Marvel are really reaching out to everyone and saying, do exciting things.
It's about time. Property. I mean, the last thing that Marvel did in-house, that's the thing, they don't develop their own games, they've handed them off to other studios for years. The last one that they did...
Activision, right? They've had the license for the longest time.
Especially for like Spidey. I mean, and the last game that they developed in-house was like 2011's, they were just in mobile apps, the last game was like 2011's Thor tie-in, which is just on iOS, which I guarantee you didn't play because no one did.
Didn't play it. Did you ever play the Facebook game, the Marvel game that came out around the time of the first Avengers film?
I don't think there was like Puzzle Quest and then
Avengers something or other, and you picked your heroes and stuff. It doesn't matter. It was great. I played the hell out of it.
Really?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. When I say it was great, it's really bad.
For a Facebook game.
Facebook game, really good.
True. Because that's another thing. Looking at the movies that are coming out in 2018, the MCU as it's penciled in is mostly done. Like after about halfway through 2018, we've got the Black Panther movie and Captain Marvel, but if we go with the idea that the MCU is as one, I mean, Marvel have rebooted a whole bunch of their comics to fall in line with this one unified vision.
Right.
Maybe after the end of the MCU is done, we then transfer to the video game realm and all the stories go forward in the video game.
See, that's interesting, but also concerns me a little bit because they've tried to do this before, where they make games canon in certain universes. They did it with Star Wars, and as cool as it was with The Force Unleashed, it was a bit like, it doesn't feel quite right. This is canon.
It is.
And also they've tried to make game versions of TV shows that have fit in as well. I can't remember the name of it. It was an Alien one that came out a couple of years ago.
It begins with a D.
I think so.
Yeah. It's not The Division.
No, it's not The Division.
Defiance?
Yes, I think it was that.
Yep.
Whereas like they had stuff happening in the game after it aired on the TV show, and that's a cool idea. But I don't think it really works. I'd be very happy if they just did original stories that are separate from the MCU, that didn't feature facial talent or anything like that. Just had the voice actors from maybe an animated show, for example. Just like how Batman has done it.
That'd be sweet.
And it was just a really good game, and that way they didn't have to listen to what has been dictated in the film so far.
I mean, to go back to what that the VP Jay Ong said, he wanted to take the time to make epic games. He was saying that they didn't want to just make something that could be throwaway. I mean, in the past we've had a Thor game and a Captain America game, and various Hulk games, but they've always tied into the movies. And so they're always, most of the time, those developers are hamstrung by the production schedules of the movies, trying to turn them around faster than an average game schedule would take. So in theory, now that Marvel have just like freed some time, I mean, Infinity War has been announced for years. So if these games have been in development for this long, that's about a 3-4 year cycle, which means that 2018, in theory, would then produce a very good, fully well-rounded, nice, professional, good, brilliant,
excellent
thing.
Lovely game.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the press release did say that we wouldn't be hearing anything else until 2018.
Which is mental.
That they've showed it so early in 2017.
Did they not see No Man's Sky? I mean, we're going to pick this apart and talk about it for a year, but still.
Maybe that's just a front. We may see something at E3, who knows, but it is certainly a long time to wait. Very exciting prospect, though, and any developments that do come our way, we will, of course, talk about them here
Very
on What Culture
much.
Gaming. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Ben, this has been Scott,
yes,
and thanks again.